All right, so tomorrow is another Apple media event. It's going to be their big iPhone release, so I thought I'd kind of catch everybody up to speed on what's going on. There are three potential iPhone models for tomorrow. And I don't mean like sizes, I mean three potential distinct models. So I'll just run through those real quick. First up is the basically a prepaid version of iPhone 4. It would probably go to like Boost Mobile, perhaps AT&T Go. It would cost about $350, and it would be like the current iPhone 4, except it would have 8 gigs of storage space. So that's one potential. They're kind of trying to hit the prepaid market. There's been a big shift recently to prepaid users, especially most people don't understand mobile virtual network operators, MVNOs. And those are like Boost Mobile, T-Mobile has one that I'm looking at, Simply Mobile. Basically, these smaller companies contract with these big companies to buy like wholesale space. And basically they operate a virtual network on Sprint or T-Mobile or AT&T's network. And they're able to, cut down on costs because they don't have physical stores. They do everything online or through retail partners. So Apple's probably trying to break into the prepaid market with that handset. That should be pretty straightforward, and that one's been talked about a lot lately. Then there's the iPhone 4S, and this is basically a pretty close version of what we have today. It would swap out the processors, it would swap in an A5 for the A4, so it would have dual cores, it would be really fast, an 8 megapixel camera with 1080p recording, and twice as much RAM. And that would probably take the place of the current model in the $199, $299 range variety of capacities. Then there's the iPhone 5, and there have been a lot of case leaks for this. And this is basically the teardrop form factor that we've seen. It's got a larger screen, it's wider, it's thinner, it's tapered perhaps, thick at the top, thinner at the bottom, kind of like a MacBook Air. There hasn't been a whole lot of proof to say that this is going to be launched tomorrow or be announced tomorrow. There have been cases that have leaked, there have been drawings, but there hasn't been a whole lot of movement in the manufacturing community, the parts community, to support that that's going to come out tomorrow. Apple could pretty easily do the prepaid iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S without causing a lot of stir because they already make the A5 processor. They already assemble something that looks really similar to the iPhone 4S. So they could do that pretty slyly. There's just not a whole lot of evidence out there that the iPhone 5 is going to come out tomorrow. I would love for it to. I think that Apple needs a handset that has a larger screen. We see most of the movement in the Android sector is in the 4.3-inch and above screen sizes, which are huge. They're too big for most people. But I think Apple could pretty safely come out with a 4-inch screen. That's what the Nexus S has by Samsung. And I think that would be a pretty good size screen for them. But who knows? They also will likely update all of their iPods tomorrow. There had been rumors that the iPod Classic and the iPod Shuffle are out, having been replaced by the Nano and the iPod Touch. So if that happens, I would look to see a huge price drop on the Nano, maybe $99 for an entry-level Nano. They could probably pull that off. A $99 Nano with 4 or 8 gigs of space, that could maybe work. They need to update their Apple TV sometime in the very near future. It currently doesn't do 1080p, so that will be coming sometime, maybe not tomorrow, but sometime in the next couple of months. And Apple TV 2. I guess this would be the Apple TV 3 because they've already had 2. But yeah, that's basically what's going on. There's also some carrier news. They're supposed to be launching an iPhone on Sprint. So if you have Sprint and want a really good deal, Sprint should be a carrier after tomorrow. Interestingly enough, T-Mobile is likely not going to get the iPhone tomorrow. And that stinks because part of what will be upgraded tomorrow as well will be connectivity. The next iPhone for AT&T should support 4G HSPA plus. T-Mobile has a better HSPA plus network when compared to AT&T. They've been building it out longer. So a iPhone that supports T-Mobile would be great, but comments from T-Mobile, execs and analysts seem to suggest that T-Mobile's not going to have it, which I think sucks. I have T-Mobile. I like T-Mobile. I have T-Mobile prepaid. I like because it's really cheap. I'm actually, if there's no iPhone announced for T-Mobile, I'm likely moving to Simply Mobile. It's one of those virtual networks I talked about earlier. For $40 a month, you get unlimited everything up to 3G speeds. I'd probably just buy a Nexus S and move there. But $40 a month for everything. It's ridiculous. It's $50 less than I paid with AT&T for my iPhone. So if you spend like $300 or $400 on an unlocked phone on the front end, you make up for that in 10 months perhaps. You've paid completely for the phone. Whereas with an AT&T or Verizon, you're paying $200 for the phone, and then you're paying $80 or $90 for service every month, and you're not getting hugely better service. But that's a little bit what's on tap tomorrow. I expect it'll just be a prepaid iPhone and the iPhone 4S. I would love the iPhone 5. I think the reason that the iPhone 5 seems like it should be coming out is because they took forever for this update. Usually they update the iPhone in summer. This time they had to bump it a few months, and I think the fanboys are going to be disappointed that we had to bump the launch back 3 months for what's essentially an internals only update. But I'm keeping fingers crossed for an iPhone 5. I think that'd be awesome. Who doesn't want a 4-inch screen and a gorgeous design? But yeah, I think they could do good with 2 iPhone models and adding a carrier. I think that would be okay. So if we don't see an iPhone 5 tomorrow, chances are we'll see one late spring, early summer. But anyways, that's your Apple news for now. I'll talk to you later.